Hello and welcome to the Leave Your Legacy Show. I'm your host, Kenyon Murray, and this podcast is really about celebrating the University of Iowa men's basketball's run to the Elite Eight. And what we're going to talk about today is it's more about culture, consistency, and championship habits. Because what we witnessed this year with the Iowa Hawkeyes making a run to the Elite Eight didn't just happen. That was built. And obviously, a big part of that foundation is head coach Ben McCollum. But to understand Iowa's success, we have to go back to where it all started, Maryville, Missouri. So before the Big Ten, before the NCAA tournament spotlight, Coach McCollum built a dynasty at Northwest Missouri State. And when I say dynasty, I mean dominance. Multiple national championships, consistent winning. I mean, almost an 82% winning percentage. But more importantly, a system that produces results year after year. And here's what made it special. It wasn't about talent first. It was about habits. It wasn't about stars. It was about standards. It wasn't about hype. It was all about execution. So let's break down what makes Coach McCollum's approach so powerful and how that translated into Iowa's Elite Eight run. Number one, player development over recruiting rankings. Coach McCollum didn't chase 5 stars. He built 5-star habits. His players got better each and every day. Their skill got better. Their IQ got better. Their discipline got better. Now that's the 4 E's right there. Coach McCollum and his program, they establish the fundamentals. They execute with discipline. They evaluate their performance honestly. They evolve continuously. And that's not just a framework. That is a winning system. Now, the second thing that you see Coach McCollum do in his program is there is a clarity of roles. At Northwest Missouri State, every player knew, and at Iowa, every player knows who they are, what they did, and how they contributed to winning. There's no confusion. There's no ego battles, or as coach would say, there's no moods because he doesn't like moods in his program. But then all that translated to Iowa. You saw a team that played connected basketball. That's why they could compete deep into March. Now, the third thing is defensive discipline and offensive efficiency. The one thing that his teams always showed was they play with a purpose. They know kind of what they are good at. They know their tempo. They dictate pace. But the one thing that was truly amazing and what showed in the tournament was their elite defensive positioning. They limited their mistakes. And then they had a high efficiency offense. And bigger than anything in the tournament, they didn't beat themselves. And in tournament basketball, that's everything. Because talent can win you games, but discipline wins you tournaments. Now, let's talk about the jump. I mean, you're going from D2 Missouri, Northwest Missouri State to Drake and then to Iowa. So going from a D2 dominance to a Big Ten, it's not easy, but his system travels. And in this case, players traveled too. So that being said, his culture traveled and his standards traveled. And that is exactly what you saw with Iowa this year. And when you have a point guard like Bennett Sturts, who is the leader, the coach on the floor, he is the key to everything that went right for the University of Iowa this year. Not that his teammates didn't have a part in it, but when you've got your general on the floor, I mean, let's look at it. He played every minute of every NCAA tournament game. I believe in the last 20 games, he missed 7 minutes. When you got a guy that has that high a basketball IQ, knows how to run your team, and he's playing those kind of minutes, I think you're going to have a good chance of winning. But more importantly is all the players, they bought into development. They bought into a team identity rooted in discipline, and they were able to consistently produce under pressure. They just didn't play to win games. They played with a championship identity. And that's why they made it to the Elite Eight. Now, because when March hits, it's not about who's the most talented. It's about who's the most connected, the most prepared, and the most disciplined. So, all that being said, this isn't just a basketball story. This is a leadership story, a culture story, a legacy story. Because what Coach McCollum proved is this: you don't build champions overnight, you build them daily. Build them daily through habits, through standards, and through consistency. And that formula, it also applies not only to sports programs, but it applies to businesses, families, and it really is a reflection of life. So here's a question I'm going to leave you with. Are you chasing results, or are you building the habits that will produce those results? Because if you commit to the process, the results will follow. We saw that this year. And I think Coach McCollum, he's going to deliver on his word of building a champion here at Iowa. That's how dynasties are built. That's how elite runs happen. And that's how you leave your legacy. So if this was something that you really enjoyed and wanted to share, hey, give us a like, subscribe, and share it. And until next time, let's keep connecting. The Leave Your Legacy podcast is brought to you by Covenant Workplace Solutions. Covenant is a full-service workplace mental health and wellness partner, helping organizations across the country strengthen the lives of their employees and the families they go home to every day. Your employee assistance program should raise the bar, not simply check the box. And Storyline Multimedia. Storyline is an Iowa City-based media company that creates high-quality video, photo, and audio for local businesses. They produce a number of great podcasts, including this one. If you're interested in sharing your story, please contact them at storylinemultimedia.com. And remember, your story matters.